This is the best smelling recipe I have ever made. Welcome to Crocks in the Kitchen. I am Brian. Jessica is on the other side of the camera right now because she is technically filming this and I am taking direction. Kind of. But this recipe is absolutely wonderful. I got the idea after we made our chorizo tofu. And I was like, man, this seasoning blend would be amazing in a bunch of other recipes. So that's exactly what I did. So what am I making today? Well, as you probably guessed from the title and the picture on this video, I'm making pinto beans. And trust me, I am not even remotely joking or lying when I say that this is the best smelling recipe I have ever made. Because the second I got done with it and I smelled that goodness of those pinto beans and that seasoning blend, it blew me away on how good it actually smelled. And then when I tasted it, it was exceptionally good. So I'm really looking forward to showing you guys this one. So let's get to cooking. So starting off, yes, we do have our chorizo blend. We will get to that in just one second. But starting off, you will actually need about 2 cups of a white onion, or you can use yellow onion, or you can use red onion. Doesn't really matter. Onion is what you need. And so we had small onions. This is actually like 2 small onions, or good size medium onion, or I don't know. You can use however much onion you really want. I don't really care. And then you will need, what is this? 1 pound? 1 pound of pinto beans. I like how Jessica's just like, 1 pound of pinto beans. And these have been, these are dry pinto beans. These are not canned because we are going to cook them in our lovely Instant Pot, which is over here. But you need to rinse them and make sure that they don't have any rocks or anything in there. But you definitely don't need to soak them for this recipe. Well, you can if you want to, because I'm not the boss of you. And then finally, we have our seasoning blend. Now, this seasoning blend is already pre-made for what we are doing because you need 2 times the amount of the chorizo seasoning without any of the wet ingredients in there. But you need 2 times the amount of the dry ingredients right now. And if you want to recap for that, the dry ingredients are as follows. Chili powder. And of course, some cumin. If you ever wonder why these are always full, it's because Jessica fills them up and then uses them in the shots, but not necessarily in the actual process of putting things together. This is garlic powder. It looks fantastic, doesn't it? And some good old-fashioned onion powder, some coriander, which we've had coriander in the pantry for a very long time now, and I didn't really use it for a whole lot. I think we had to get it for 1 recipe, and then I never really touched it again. And then when I was going through developing the chorizo recipe, and I realized that coriander smells just brilliant, I started using it in practically every recipe now just to see how it actually affects it. We have some regular paprika here. You can use smoked paprika if you do not want to use liquid smoke because, as you know from the chorizo recipe, it does have liquid smoke in it. But you can use smoked paprika if you want. Also, some cinnamon. Make sure you get some good quality cinnamon. You know, don't go for the fake stuff. Get the good stuff. And then finally, what's not in the other chorizo recipe is bay leaves. And we're going to use these whenever we are actually making the stuff in the Instant Pot. And of course, the awesome herb here, Mexican oregano. After we got done with that, we ended up buying a giant thing here of this. And as you can kind of see here, it's like really like tiny leaves and little pods and stuff like that in there. And I don't really find that as conducive to cooking. So what I actually ended up doing was measuring out heaping spoonfuls or teaspoons and then putting them into our spice grinder and then blitzing them up and then mixing everything together. But that's why I have this sitting out right there. And but the other thing too is that we decided, you know what? We already got all the stuff out. Might as well make some extra for when we want to make some other stuff. Now, I've actually already improved the chorizo tofu recipe because that's what I do. A recipe is never completely done with me. And so hopefully there I can show you that one in a bit as well. But make it ahead of time if you actually do just want to use it. This is just the dry ingredients once again. But we have made our separate mix right there, all ready to go for this recipe. And I think that this will be really, really nice all together. But we're not done with ingredients yet. So for the wet ingredients, we are going to use some low sodium tamari. Now, you can also use soy sauce, low sodium soy sauce, or liquid aminos if you want to do that. I really like the low sodium tamari now because it has a real good like punch of flavor. It's got a little tiny little bit of sweetness to it as well. And it has lower sodium than even the low sodium soy sauce and much less sodium than the liquid aminos that we have. So that has turned out to be quite nice. Thanks, Cray for putting me on to the tamari. You will need some red wine vinegar because it's red wine vinegar. And some lime juice. Yes, it's in a tiny little lime thing. I don't really like this bottle that much. It sprays weird. But we have that one. And then finally, some liquid smoke for everything else. But let's get everything together and actually cook. Oh yeah, Jessica's like pointing to stuff. We put all the liquid ingredients together and they're just in our lovely little beaker measuring cups that we have. So yes, but actually let's get this stuff in the Instant Pot and get it going. Hi, hey. It's Brian again. I'm over here now next to the Instant Pot, and we are going to saute this onion. Now, I don't need to get out a pan to do it. I can saute an onion right in the Instant Pot. So, let's take the... Beef is not an ingredient in these pinto beans, but, you know, yes. You can saute a beef, I guess, if you wanted to, but it's not necessary for this recipe. But I do need my helper to hit the saute button because I can't see the buttons. Hit the saute. Saute. There we go. Now, this is going to heat up, and then we are going to saute our onions with, you know, a couple splashes of water just so we can water saute. You don't need oil, obviously. And then we can get some good amount of flavor going in this just from the onions alone. All right, Instant Pot says it is hot, so let's get to cooking the onion. All right, now cook the onion for, I don't know, somewhere between 5 and 10 minutes, depending on what you want it to look like. Basically, you just want them to start to get a little bit of color to them and turn translucent. And yeah, we just want to get like an extra little depth of flavor out of these onions instead of just putting them in raw. So, yep, just keep sauteing away until they are nice and slightly brownish and translucent. Yep, that is what you were looking for. You want it to be sort of slightly dark brown, like our, you know, brownish, tannish color. And, you know, pour in some water so you can get rid of, or you can get that brown stuff that's off the bottom. That's the good tasting stuff. And you can now move on to step number 2. I'm gonna add in a little bit more water right now just so I can add it in. Now, add in all of your dry ingredients to the pot and then kind of make a paste. Oh, it smells so good. Yep. Once again, a little bit more water. kind of bring it all together. All right, now you can add in all of your beans. And get all that out of there. Come on, there you go. Get all that, and then you can add in 4 cups of water. Now give that a good stir so you can get all that stuff off the bottom. And you can get everything mixed together really nicely. And we can move to the final 2 ingredients that we actually have for this step, which is some liquid smoke. And just do, I don't know, a few little splashes just like that. A little more. Because why not? And finally, the last thing you need is some bay leaves. Jessica, where are my bay leaves?
Oopsie, I put them away, hold on.
Bay leaves. So you can do like 3 or 4 of these. These are kind of small, so I like to go through and pick out some slightly bigger ones, you know, if I got them. And, you know, we're going to go with 4 on this one. So we got that one. And I'll go ahead and grab one more. I don't know. I like nice, like whole leaves, even if they're small. But yes, the bay leaves are going to add a really, really nice aroma to this entire recipe. So I like to do that one. And then I just like to get them wet so they're not just sitting on top floating. And then we are ready to actually move on to pressure cooking all of these beans and making sure that they get done. So attach said lid. First shot! Yes! I knew I could do it. And then we can set this to high pressure, manual for 35 minutes. Helper, please do that. You can do this.
How many?
35 minutes, please. And now you wait. Oh, yeah, whoa, hold on. Make sure this is set to sealing, because if not, it ain't gonna do anything. So that's venting, that's sealing. See you in 35 minutes. So that was a bit longer than 35 minutes because, well, the thing has to heat up, get to pressure, then it has to cook for 35 minutes, and then I let it naturally release, so then it just had to sit there. As you can see, the venting doesn't do anything because all the pressure has gone completely down. But this is done, so let's take a look at it. Ooh, get a shot of this. Now, we'll just stir this up a bit. Make sure that that is all good and incorporated. This smells so good. So as you can see, yeah, there's still a bunch of the liquid in there. That is perfectly fine. That's what I'm shooting for. I kind of like this as a soup, and not really a soup, but you know, putting the beans onto stuff. And not to mention, as it cools in a refrigerator, it will thicken up, and then you can use it on things like tacos or tostadas would be nice, burritos, anything of that nature. Or, you know, you can make like a, I don't know, a tofu scramble and maybe put some of this on top. But this isn't done yet. No, because we still got to add all of our nice liquid ingredients. So this is the lime juice, the tamari, and I forgot what else was
red wine vinegar.
The red wine vinegar. That's right. Thanks. It's late. Look at the clock. It's late. So I'm gonna pour this in and just make sure that this is all stirred up, and just get that all nicely incorporated. And if you also want, you can go through and remove the bay leaves, but you know, that's up to you. If you want to leave them in, go ahead. But I'll remove them, just not gonna remove them right now. But after that, once it's nice and stirred up and, oh.
Brian?
Yes, oh, it's so good. It smells so good. And it only gets better. As it sits there and like it cools and stuff, it gets even better, like especially after you microwave it and stuff. This is just the best smelling thing that I have ever made, and I'm quite happy. But I think we need to get Jessica in here so we can actually like get a nice little taste test going, and we can close out this video.
Give me some of that.
Okay.
He's like having a love affair with this.
It smells just that good.
Oh my gosh, it does smell really good. It's not that I couldn't smell it, but it like wasn't wafting
Yeah, wafting is correct.
wafting my way. And so I was just like, let me smell it. Plus I was too much like trying to make sure I wasn't messing up the camera work because Brian will judge me on it later.
Now I'll just put an editing joke in there.
Yeah, that's true. He'll just make fun of me and the editing jokes. Oh. Wow.
Yeah, right?
That was good.
Mmm.
Let that sit overnight.
Mm-hmm.
All those flavors are going to get even more just like, yeah.
So it's got that lovely smoky flavor. It's got all that spice in there that's just really, really strong. The lime juice and the vinegar really add this nice background note to it. I could probably go ahead and add in something spicy, maybe throw in a couple splashes of the Cholula hot sauce or just some cayenne or something like that if you want to make it spicier. But the first time I made this, like I made exactly the same recipe. I don't think Jessica ate any of it because I ate it like over the next 2 or 3 days and just was like blown away by how good it actually was.
That's because I was eating the spaghetti squash and cheesy sauce, which if you haven't watched that video, that's like my favorite meal to make now. A spaghetti squash with the cheesy sauce. Oh my gosh. This actually, I think,
like you can even tell like that sauce is like already thickening up.
Oh yeah. This would be really good like over some rice or some riced cauliflower.
Yep, that's exactly what I did.
Just like so many different things you could do with this. But yeah, I am definitely going to be using some of that for my lunches for the next few days.
Yeah, my favorite thing for this was honestly these beans on some riced cauliflower and maybe like a dollop of the cheesy sauce or something on top of that, or even just some nutritional yeast, whatever it happened to be. And it's so good, and it's super filling and just awesome sauce. Like I like this more than I like the tofu, and you know, like I've stated before, I've already improved on the tofu recipe too. So we'll probably have to make a separate video for that one. Or at the very least, I'll talk about it during the live stream that's supposed to happen.
What about the?
What do you think I'm talking about, girl?
Girl.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that later.
A separate video.
We'll do a separate video on that one probably.
So, I have a question.
Yes.
I was like dying back there behind the camera wanting to ask a million questions. So my question is, if I don't have an Instant Pot, what do I do? How do I make this? What
you can follow all of the other normal cooking instructions for the pinto beans. Really, it's just the seasoning mix there that you want to cook it in. I know some people like to do like crock pot beans, you know, let them cook like overnight or 24 hours or something like that. You can do the exact same thing. You can saute up an onion. You don't even have to do that necessarily. But just put it in an onion, put in the beans, put in the seasoning and the water and all of that, and then top it off with the rest of the liquid recipe whenever you get done with those beans.
Yeah, most bags of beans I know have like cooking instructions on them. So if you just follow whatever instructions, or whether it's a stovetop method or whatever methods. The other thing I was actually thinking is you could just open a couple cans of pinto beans.
Yep, absolutely do that too.
And then like put them on the stove, maybe cook it, get them, you know, nice and hot with all the seasonings, and do kind of a similar thing.
Yep, absolutely. You could open up a couple cans of pinto beans, mix in the seasoning, mix in the liquids, heat it up, bing bang boom. I have not made these into refried beans yet. I would like to try that at least once. To see how they
like a variation on our refried beans.
Like kind of blitz them up a bit, and you know have them like just be some really nice pinto beans or refried beans. But yeah, I mean, all in all, this is just amazing. Like it's so stupid how good just beans and some awesome herbs and spices and stuff can be. So I'm definitely looking forward to eating the rest of this pot. I know that much. But
you know what I really want for this video?
What? To close?
I want I want a nice close-up shot of us like ladling the beans into a bowl or something nice like that. So you can insert that here.
Yes, I finished off the beans in the bowl. I'm sorry.
Not the entire pot. Just,
No. That pot is still over here. We're still good.
It's only like 11:56 p.m., so, you know, it's fine.
Yeah, it's late at night, but that's fine. We're staying up late now anyway. Either way, subscribe to the channel. Click the subscribe button and click the bell that is right next to it, and you get notified whenever we post a new video just like this one. Also, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram. You can message us on there, or you can post to the pages, or you can send us photos of the beans that you have made, or any of the other recipes that we have done.
We did get a lot of photos of your tofu chorizo on Instagram. And
yeah, that was a big hit.
Looking at those.
But if you do, just tag us in the post, right?
At Krocks in the Kitchen. That's Krocks with a K.
Yep. And Jessica loves to reshare those things on our story and whatnot. But
Look
yeah,
at you knowing all the lingo, story, and all that.
But also you can message us on there, and we love to interact with you guys and just have a fun little chat. Also like and share the video. I especially like it when you share the recipe videos, because you get them out to those whole food plant-based groups, and then you get to see people be just like, yeah, these guys are awesome. So I like that.
You're so goofy.
I know. I'm a very goofy person.
It's okay, Brian.
But I think that's all I got.
That's all I got.
We will see you next time on Krocks in the Kitchen. Bye-bye.